Hey everybody, what's going on? Mr. Tony of the Dead here, and I have another Blu-ray Reviews video for everybody out there. And this is just a video that I show of a bunch of Blu-rays that I might have received for a review or that I bought myself, and I wanted to give my opinions on them. So the first one here I'm going to show is from Arrow Video USA. It's directed by Clive Barker, and that's Hellraiser. And what this is about, it's about this couple that moves into this. Actually, it's his old house, Larry and Julia, and they move in, and what they don't know is that there's something sinister in their attic. And the whole thing with the sinister is that it's linked to their past, and it's linked to Julia's past, and something has happened with this thing in the attic. And now Julia goes up there, and she basically has to help this thing get skin back on it, because it's basically just like at first starts off with like it's nothing, then some blood gets on the floor, and then it starts to form itself into a human again, because it's basically escaped the clutches of Pinhead and the Cenobites. So now Julia has to help lure men back to the place just so this creature thing can become human again. And I'm being very vague with that just in case you haven't seen it before. I don't want to give away a lot, but so that's what happened in that. This is based off the book The Telltale Heart. No, I'm sorry, The Hellbound Heart. That's totally different. The Hellbound Heart. And I have read the book before in the past, and I'll be honest, I don't remember it. I remember really liking it, and this is one of those moments where I don't remember if I liked the book better than the movie. I might have, but again, I don't remember a lot about it. I remember it was like this thin, the book, and but it was cool. It was a good read. I even gave it back then. I'm not a huge reader. I'd like to be, but I just can't. I get into spurts where I might read a book or two here and there, but then I can't read a book all the time. Not one of those people. I wish I could, but I'm not. Even got an e-reader, just so I can, have all this in there in case I get bored with one, because that's the other thing. I get bored with a book and I go on to another real quick. But I do remember reading this book like straight through and liking it. But I don't remember if I liked this or liked the book more than the movie. Most cases, the book is better, but I don't really remember. But yeah, I always liked Hellraiser. To be honest, I don't know what it was. I think watching it this time, I think it kind of lost its charm. Or I guess you could say charm. It's kind of weird to say this as charm. But it's not scary to me anymore. This kind of thing, like with the whole puzzle box where people don't realize that, they think it's just a puzzle box. They don't realize that it opens up a gate to hell, and Pinhead and the Cenobites come out. Cenobites. Not Cenobites. That sounds like a cereal. The Cenobites come there, and they basically torture you for pleasure in that. They don't cry. It's such a good waste of suffering, or something like that. They say, like, basically pain is like pleasure for them. And people that open this box are, kind of do it on purpose, and some don't do it on purpose. It's an accident. But most of the time, these people are looking for, what they heard about this box. But that's pretty scary, because they come and then you're fucked. But Pinhead, everybody knows who Pinhead is, and he's probably, I guess he's the leader of the Cenobites in this, but he doesn't really give off 100% that vibe, because they all kind of work as one. Two of them don't talk, and then there's like, I believe she's the nun. Is she a nun or a nurse? I can't remember what she was, but she's like kind of like they both kind of seem like they're both kind of in charge, but it's not really based on him in this movie. It's more along the lines of based on what's in the attic and the story behind the family and everything. And then of course there's the heroine of the movie, which is Kirsty, not Christy, Kirsty, which I don't like that name. If you have the name, I'm sorry. I just don't like it. But played by Ashley Laurence. I think it was actually, I don't know what the words are, but it's like introducing Ashley Laurence, I think it said. And this is from 1987. So I think it's 87. yeah, 87. So it's pretty crazy how it was introducing her back then. But she's likable. She's goes off the rails very easily. But she's typical. Like, her mom's dead. You know, she has a stepmother now who's kind of evil. That kind of stuff. But she's a likable character. The father, he tries his best, but it's just something. It just seems like he is a good guy, and he tries to do everything he can to please his wife, Julia. And it just seems like she's very, very high maintenance. And of course, she does have her secret that he doesn't know about. But you go from there. But yeah, I like the movie, but I don't know if I like it as much as I used to. But it's still not a bad movie. I do enjoy it, and I definitely say check it out. But yeah, and this is like the single editions. I know there's I think there's a U.S. version as well. I have the UK version. It's the Scarlet Box, and it's Hellraiser 1, 2, and 3. And now this is the Arrow Video USA, and they have this and number 2 right now. I don't know if any other ones are coming out, but they have 1 and 2 separate like this. So if you can't afford the box, or you don't only like the first 2 movies or whatever, you can. These are out now. But yeah, I'll show you more on what's on the inside of this. And there's the newly commissioned artwork by Gilles Vranciks. I don't know if I said that right, but it's not bad. I kind of like it. I dig that artwork. It's simple, but very cool. Again, they put the center on him, and I don't know. It's just he's not really a gigantic character to me in this. As he's not glorified as much as he is. Say, like, I would even say by part 3 he's more glorified. Part 2, a little bit more, but not as much. But he's still the boss, I guess. But there's that artwork, and you flip it over, you got the original artwork, which is awesome. Love that artwork, But I mean, that's an actual image, which is very, very cool. And then it's almost the same, so I think either one works. And you got this font there. You got the new one. It's almost like the old one, just smaller font. And there you have the special edition contents. If you want to pause it now and check them out, you can. And here you have a Blu-ray, which is Region A. So yeah, I thought it looked good, sounded good, and I always did like this movie. Again, I don't know, maybe it just lost a little bit of charm for me, but I still liked it a lot, and I definitely say check this one out. So that's Hellraiser. Moving right along, we have another one here from Arrow Video USA. It's directed by Toni Randel, and that's Hellraiser II, Hellbound. And this one picks up right after Hellraiser 1 ends. So right here, there might be a little spoiler if you haven't seen this before. So just wanted to warn you. But basically, Christy wakes up in a mental hospital, and she, after her battle with the Cenobites, and she wakes up there. They think she's kind of crazy in that, and then there's like this doctor who is kind of obsessed with they act like they don't believe her story, but he's like obsessed with her kind of story. Like, he knows about the box. In fact, he has like several boxes. He has like this like underground, it's not really underground, it's like in this like really dirty old section of this hospital where he experiments on like the really mentally disturbed people. And basically Christy's trapped in this place, and she just wants to get out, and then eventually the past catches up to her, and there's a whole different look into the Cenobites and that. It's like in this one they came to your world and into our world, and in this one you basically get to see what their world is like. And it's like this like giant labyrinth and all that stuff. It's kind of strange to explain, and you have to kind of see it to know what I'm talking about. But it's, to be honest, the movie's okay. I thought I liked it more. I haven't seen it in a long time, and in the past I remember thinking, oh yeah, part 2 was pretty good. I think it's freaky. There's like some weird creatures in that, you know, from I guess from hell. And the one cool thing is they do show this thing. I don't want to say what, but they show it kind of take a human and transform them into a Cenobite, which is pretty cool. Very painful looking, but you know, it's pretty cool that they show it. In fact, that's the picture of them right there. That's pretty neat. Very gross. There's some stop motion animation in this. Kind of reminded me of in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, where the doll or the marionette changed to Freddy's face. How it's like did that. These like snakes come out of the guy's hand, and the way it did it, it just reminded me of that. But you know, it's cool. You get to see, you know, you get to see Pinhead and them again. But I believe again, I can't remember if she's a nurse or a nun, but she, or maybe she's not even one of them. I think that's just stuck in my head. But she's played by a different character, and she talks a lot more in this. I think she was scarier looking in the first one. In this one, she looks more friendly. I don't know. She almost looks like Cyndi Lauper, but it's not Cyndi Lauper. But you get again, you get a better look at how the Cenobites came to, you know, be, and all that kind of stuff. So like, there's a cool. It's got the cool background to it. You know, you get to see more, and it explains more. But yet, it's still kind of a weird movie and strange. And it's okay, but it's definitely not one that I would go to watch. Like, I like the first one way better than this one. But, you know, it looked good and sounded good. Again, with the first one I watched captions. I didn't say that before, but I watched with captions. They were fine. I watched this one with captions. They were fine. You know, all that kind of stuff. And then there's like, I also forgot to say that on the first one and on this one too, there's like this documentary. Each one of them have a documentary, and they're like an hour and a half. This one I think was like 2 hours or something like that. It was like, and they talked to, you know, a bunch of you know, people from the movie and that. It's very cool. There's a lot of stuff in the special edition contents on here. If if you care about that. I know some people don't care. They just want to watch the movie and that's that. But you know, it's cool to see the other things that go on behind the scenes. A lot of times for me that saves a movie too, because I could think a movie was like horrible and then see the behind the scenes on how much passion and love went into it, and then I give it a little more respect. Maybe that I still don't like the movie, but then I start to think about it more, and I was like, it's okay. It's still bad, but you know, I have more respect for it. But you know, I thought this movie was okay. I don't think you have to rush out to see it, but it is cool that it continues right from the first one. I really like that kind of stuff, like Halloween 1 and 2. It's like right after the second one starts up, right after the first one, which I love that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind a continuation of, like, you know, like Scream, it ends, and then Scream 2 is however long later she's in college. I don't mind that, but I do like it where it just picks it right up. I really like that. It's like the nightmare never ended. And so, yeah, but that's what I'm gonna say about this, and then I'll show you what's inside. And there you have the newly commissioned artwork by that same artist, Gilles Vrancic. I don't know why I'm trying to roll my tongue on that. I feel like you have to. Vrancic? Jix? I don't know how you say it. But I don't know. I don't really care for it, to be honest. I like the first one because it kind of matches the original. But this one, I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. Maybe it's the blue. I mean, the image is okay, but it's just boring to me. I don't know. And then when you flip it around, you get this. And I'll be honest, I don't like this one either. I like the VHS artwork where you have him and the female Cenobite. Again, I'm not going to say nurse or nun because I'm not sure if I'm even right on either one of them. But, I mean, I like this better than this, but I wish we would have got the other artwork with him and the female Cenobite. But, you know, but if I had to choose one, I guess I'd put this one on there. And there are the special edition contents. If you want to pause it now and check them out, you can. And there is the Blu-ray, and it is Region A. One other thing I wish they would have done differently is on the Blu-rays themselves. I wish there was a different image. It kind of just looks like a curtain or whatever. I wish there was like a little more of an image, like maybe, you know, chains or like, you know, something like that, like along the lines of it's very kind of a plain, boring image. I'm glad there's something on it, but I just wish the image was different. But that being said, yeah, I would say it's cool that it continues from the first one, and if you want to watch it, go ahead. It's definitely one that is better than some of the later ones in the series. So I would say check it out. It's okay to me, and it does have some cool effects, and the cast is pretty cool. And of course Pinhead and the Cenobites are neat, and stuff like that. It's just cool effects. But so that's it. That's Hellraiser 2, Hellbound. Next up I have here from the Warner Brothers Archive Collection is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Leatherface. And what this is about, it's about this couple, two college students, and they're on the back roads of Texas and that, and they get into this like little jam at the gas station, and after they leave the gas station, they're kind of lured off the road, and and then they get stranded kind of in this like back roads kind of place, and who is there but Leatherface? And the whole thing goes from there, where it's Leatherface and the family and shit that happens with the family, like like always. So, and in the beginning they talk about how what happened with the family from the first one, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and how nobody really believes that Leatherface is real. They think it was a like an alternate personality of the can't think of his name, but of the main member of the Sawyer family, the father. They think it was an alternate. They think it was an alternate personality of him, and so they think it is. But then some people say that they never. They don't know for sure. So if it's true, then if it's not his alternate personality, then there is a Leatherface still out there, and well, of course, there is a Leatherface still out there, and it's really kind of strange because it's like the Sawyer family, but it's like another part of the Sawyer family. They don't really go into like how they are, like why they are the way they are. Leatherface kind of like is with them, and of course he's like the one who gets kicked around a lot, and he's like the dog of the family, and they have Grandpa there, and then like this older lady and this little girl, and there's what's his name, Viggo Mortensen is another one, and it's strange, but there's like this big fight between Leatherface, who's played by R.A. Mihailoff. I don't know if I say that name right. I got to meet him before. He's a nice guy, but he is playing Leatherface, and he gets into a fight with Ken Foree, which is cool. But like the movie kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. It's kind of weird. It's not scary. I mean, those kind of situations can be scary, but I thought, again, this is another one. I thought back in the day that I liked this movie. I thought, oh, the third one's not that bad, because the trailer for it back in like VHS, and the chainsaw comes out of the water, and then it's kind of like very strange. But I thought I liked this, and I'll be honest, I don't like this movie. I wouldn't say don't watch it or anything, but I gotta say it's not a very good movie. I think the Next Generation, the next one after this, is better than this one. That's my opinion. I just remember enjoying that more. The only bad thing, the thing with that is Leatherface was kind of a real bitch in that movie. He was like very crybaby-ish about everything, and in this one he was trying to be more scary. And my favorite one is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, to be honest. I know that the first one holds a candle to everybody, but Part 2, I guess it's because I probably saw Part 2 before I saw Part 1 when I was younger. Part 2 will always be my favorite. And then probably Part 1, then Next Generation. And then probably 3D. I don't know. But, you know, I definitely don't see myself watching this again. It has special features on here, like filmmaker commentary, the Saw's family making of Leatherface documentary. We know what to do, and with them parts, it's deleted scenes, alternate ending, and theatrical trailers. You know, and it does look good. The pictures clean up good. I do like that, but it's just not a good movie. The movie itself is not good, but I mean, you have to have it. If you have the rest of them, you have to have this one. And there are elements of like that. It's not that bad, like the torture scene if you're into that. But it's just I don't know. It's just one that I could definitely not watch again. But you know, again, it did a good job with the transfer, I thought, and it's just kind of a, you know, standalone edition. But there are the special features, which is cool. And how do you say his name? R.A. Mihailoff? I don't even know if I'm saying it right. I think he did a good job as Leatherface, but I definitely think, you know, Gunnar Hansen is my favorite one. Yeah, I would have to say. But not that he did a bad job, you know. It's not like I'm picking Jason's, you know, but, you know, yeah, it's just it's hard to like the family. They're more, the one family member is like technology's your friend, so he's more technology. He's more about technology, and it's just, I don't know, it's just weird. It's weird, but it's not like, it's like it's forced. I don't know. There's something about it I just don't really care for. But, you know, that is what it is. And I'll show you the inside here. And here you have the Blu-ray in here. I'm not honestly sure what the region is with this. I'm in America, so it works in a PlayStation 4. So, what does that tell you? You know, I tried it on another player too, and so it works in America. Not sure if it's just A, but it might be all, you know, all region. But I would say it's probably just region A. But I do like that there's an image on there. That's pretty cool. So yeah, Leatherface, you know, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, definitely one that I won't watch again. But it was cool to rewatch it after this, you know, after many years. But for me, I would say I wouldn't recommend it. But it does look nice. It has special features. So, and it sounds good, and the captions were good. So there's that. So yeah, that's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, Leatherface. Next up I have here from Dark Force Entertainment and Code Red is Dead Pit, and this is directed by Leonard. And what this is about, it's about this doctor who kind of like is obsessed with the dead, and he like does experiments in this like underground thing, not like Hellraiser 2, but he does like experiments, and he has this like pit of all the dead that he throws them into, and his fellow colleague finds out about this, ends up putting a stop to him, killing him, and putting him into the pit with all the others, and then seals the place up. Now it's 20 years later, and there's this new person to the ward, because it's like a, you know, a kind of, not fancy, but it's like cleaned up and everything. And this girl, they don't know her name, they call her Jane Doe, and something happens. There was like an earthquake, and it kind of unseals the underground with the dead pit. So now this Jane Doe is seeing images of the doctor that was buried, and various people are starting to go missing, and you see the doctor take them, and he's doing like experiments on them, like he does, like takes like this long thing and sticks it right here up into their brain, I guess. And it's I wouldn't say it's gory or horrific, but it's like, if you think about that happening, it's pretty like, ugh. But so now she doesn't know why this is going on. She has amnesia. Again, she can't remember her name. So they start trying to find out things through hypnosis, and then some things get revealed and stuff like that. But It's the first time I've seen the movie. I did have it on VHS, and I have seen the trailer VHS wise, but I never watched it before. And I got it here now. Now, before anybody comments about this, I know the whole thing behind, Dark Force Entertainment and that. I don't want to hear anything about that in the comments about it. Please don't support them in that. I bought this way before the whatever they said online. So this has nothing to do with the company, but this is about the release and the movie, and that's all I'm going to say about it. But but I do think this release wasn't bad. It has a brand new 2K scan from the original negative with extensive scene-by-scene correction. I thought it looked pretty good. I don't think it looked amazing. Like, some things are cleaned up and it's like, wow. But I do think it looked good. I think it looked nice. I thought it sounded good too. And the movie wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It was a little bit of a slow drag, slow burn, but not too slow. But it's when you get your chance to look at Cheryl Lawson in this, she's gorgeous. And there's like so many different characters, being that they're in this place, in this psych ward kind of place. You just, based on the imagery and that, something's going to happen big toward the end. But it was kind of cool to see her try to figure out what about her past and that. And they actually interview her. I'm not sure when the interview took place. It looks like more recently, but they interview her and a few others. But she's talking about things in the movie, like she gets like kind of like possessed in the one part, and she does this voice thing, and I thought it was like, they screwed around with the voice track or whatever. And here it was her doing it, and she actually did in the interview, and it was like creepy. It was like, wow, I didn't know she actually did that. And then there's like another little thing about her running. A lot of times, like she said it called for her to wear like a t-shirt and underwear, and her idea was to make it a crop top. And that way when she's running that, it doesn't get caught or whatever. And what you don't, but watching the movie, I know now, but I didn't realize it while watching the movie. Her clothes get smaller and smaller because as the movie was being made, they kept washing the clothes, and being that it was 100% cotton, it kept shrinking. So her clothes kept getting smaller and smaller throughout the whole movie as it's progressing, which is kind of a little funny thing because you'd never know unless you watch the interview. But yeah, her character seems very naive, but obviously watch her in the interview, she's an intelligent woman in that. But she had a lot of fun. She was actually making another film. She doesn't say what, but she was. I'm gonna guess and say The Vineyard, or maybe. But she was making another movie, and then she heard about this one from somebody, so she went out and tried out for it and got the part, got the lead. But yeah, it wasn't a bad movie. I liked it, and again, it looked good, it sounded good. Not great. I would say this edition is obviously, I believe it's the first time on Blu-ray. I don't know anything about overseas or any of that, if they have an edition, but here in America, I believe this is the first one. And I like it. I think it looks good. In fact, this slipcover is amazing. I'll show you that too. But, I think it's just cool that this finally is on Blu-ray. The end scene, though, I will say, I won't say what happens, but it just seems like they lost budget at the end of the movie. Because the whole end scene of what happens with the building and all that, it's let's just say there was no shots of the building from outside. It was like a model of what happens to everything. And it looked very, very bad and very cheesy. It made me laugh, but whatever. I don't know if it's supposed to. But I really, really hope that, again, this is a good enough edition for now. But I hope there's another edition that comes out of this, that somebody else puts it out, like maybe Vinegar Syndrome, which would be awesome. Or like, Arrow puts one out of it that has more special features, you know, stuff like that. But, you know, for now, I think this is pretty cool. I really like this one. But yeah, let me show you more about this. And here you have the slip cover here. I'll show you there. And you got that underneath. Now the cool thing about the slip cover is on the VHS it was embossed like this came out. Well, now they made this slip cover also embossed. I can't really tell, but it also glows in the dark, because I believe on the VHS, now I didn't have the cover on the VHS, I believe his eyes blinked green, and this doesn't do that, but this does glow in the dark. I'm not going to show you now, but it does glow in the dark, and it looks really, really cool. I'm a sucker for anything GITD, glow in the dark, and it just looks really, really cool. That's a cool cool feature that they did. You know, I really like it. It would have been cool if it blinked, but I'm fine with the glow in the dark. And then they have the same imagery here. You know, it's not glow in the dark though, and it's not embossed, but it is, you know, there. And this is the same imagery on the back. And then you have that on the Blu-ray, and the Blu-ray is region A, B, and C. And there are the special features. If you want to pause it now and check them out, you can. So all in all, first time watch, I liked it. I would watch it again. It turns into a pretty crazy mess at the end. I would have liked to have seen more to the movie, like more, like, you know, of the dead walking around and stuff. I would have liked to have seen more of that kind of stuff. But yeah, not a bad movie. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again. I think this edition is good for now. I would love to see, again, like I said, somebody else put this out, and hopefully we get that one day with more special features and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, looked good, sounded good. I enjoyed it, and I'd watch it again. So yeah, that's Dead Pit. And next up I have here from Universal Pictures Home Entertainment, directed by Jim Jarmusch, is The Dead Don't Die. And what this is about, it's about this, you know, this small town called Centerville, and there's these two cops, and they're on patrol and everything, and they notice that you know, it's like 8 o'clock at night or something like that, and it's still light out, and everything's kind of strange. They're, you know, the clocks aren't working anymore and stuff like that. Strange things are starting to happen, and you know, in this town, and comes about that, you know, it's basically the world got thrown kind of like off its axis, and it's causing all this kind of weird shit to happen, and the dead start to come back to life. So now Bill Murray is one of the cops. Him and his partner, and, you know, a bunch of other people. Like, there's a lot of faces. As you can see, there's a lot of names here in this movie. They just basically, like, going throughout the day, and there's different little side stories going on about this, and The Dead Don't Die. And The Dead Don't Die is a song by Sturgill Simpson, who is also in this movie as a zombie, which I didn't know until the end I read it. But this song plays so much in this movie, it's annoying as hell. It was charming at first, but you know, it's just way overplayed. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't like this movie. I didn't like it. I wanted to. I thought it was just a slow burn at first, but the ending was bad. There were things in this that I won't say in case you want to see it. Things in it that, like, made no sense and were like just plot holes all over the place. And the main thing that really made me not like it was that they basically know they're in a movie. They don't, like he says in the beginning, like, you hear the song that Dead Don't Die, and then it's on the radio, and Bill Murray's like, boy, that's familiar. Where do I know that from? Boy, that's so familiar. And he's like, the other guy's like, it's our theme song. He's like, oh, okay. So, like, they know they're in a movie. And then there's, like, later on, there's more fact that they know they're in a movie. And they don't, like, keep at that angle that they know or keep saying it. But just knowing that they know that is like, oh. And then there's parts, like, that they try to be funny, with like this thing that they say, and they keep saying it, and then it's not funny. Like, there's like these two people that got attacked in the diner, and he goes in, shows him looking at the bodies, comes out and says, "What do you think that was? You think it was an animal, or maybe a bunch of animals, or a group of animals, something like that?" And he's like, "I don't know." And then the next guy comes in, and then he goes and looks, shows him looking at the bodies, comes out. "What do you think it was? An animal? A bunch of animals?" And then another one comes later on and does it. And then they say it on the news later. And it's like, it's not funny. The joke didn't work the first time. It's not funny. You know, this movie was just a disappointment, to be honest. Like, I posted that I was watching it, and I got a lot of people saying they didn't like it. You know, they just didn't like it. I think there was like one person that said they liked it. And so I'm like, okay, you know, it's a mix. Let's see. What if I had to say something positive about the movie, though? I did like how, you know, the zombies looked. Even Iggy Pop is a zombie in this, and it's where it's also, I can't say without giving away. I get what the movie means, though. I get what the movie means, and I'm gonna say it. So, and this is what I think it means. I think it's just their interpretation of how the world is now, how everybody is basically a zombie already, because they have some of the zombies walking around, you know, like Return of the Living Dead, like they'll say like send more cops and stuff like that, you know, like they talk, and that I like the Return of the Living Dead. Part 2 is my favorite. Sorry, I don't know what it is with me in sequels, but not sorry, not sorry, but they talking at it. It's kind of like, you know, it's funny, you know, it's a little comical, but here they're going coffee, and then they'll try to drink it and they'll smash the shit, and then Iggy Pop even like kind of gives this like weird smile to the girl, but it's like a unnatural smile, and then like there's other ones walking around, and they're like they have cell phones out. And it's just like kind of in their hand, and they're like walking, but it's in their hand, and they're going Siri, and Google, stuff like that. Or they'll like go up to a hardware store and they'll say tools, you know, hammer, you know, all this kind of. It's like, it's weird. And then there's like other things that they say that's like, you know, I think the whole point was that we're already all zombies walking around with our cell phones and, you know, our heads down, and, you know, so what's the difference? I think that's what this is mainly supposed to be, but it's I don't know. I don't like it. I just don't like it. I wouldn't watch this again, to be honest. Even with Bill Murray in it, like, he was my favorite character in it, of course, but he didn't even save it. It was just painful to watch. I don't understand why Bill Murray would sign on to this, or maybe it came out differently while they were making it to what it is. And then there's what's her name? I don't even know her name. She owns this funeral home, and she's like part Scottish in that, and she's like very strange. She's kind of like Michonne. I guess she's supposed to be like a Michonne. Which makes me think it's like a parody kind of a movie in a way too, because she's got the samurai sword, and, you know, stuff like that, and that was kind of cool. Another cool thing I will say is that when they would cut the zombies' heads off or whatever, instead of there being blood in that, it was like dust or dirt, which was pretty cool. You know, there wasn't any flesh and blood in it or anything. It was like they cut it, even if they were like not dead too long. It's like it just turned to dust and that, so then it was like go in the wind, and that was kind of cool, and the way they looked were cool. But the movie itself, I just didn't really care for, and that's a shame, as I was really looking forward to this. I thought a zombie movie with Bill Murray in it, awesome. No, didn't like it. There's even one they pull up to a zombie, and she says something about her clothes, and the zombie poses and goes, "Fashion." It's just weird, very weird. I thought it looked good though. It looked good and sounded good. But you know, and Tom Waits is like this this bum, like this like homeless guy who like lives in the woods and that. Steve Buscemi's in it, and you know, everybody. Some people were more likable than others, but it was just very dull. Like Steve Buscemi played a good part. Danny Glover was in it. I don't know, and then it just none of it saved it. None of it saved it. They definitely pay tribute. I can't talk. Pay tribute to like George Romero. I mean, there's a little thing at the end that they donate, you know, to him. They, you know, this is in memory of kind of a thing, you know, or special thanks. But you could definitely see like Night of the Living Dead in here, Return of the Living Dead. Like it's like they took a bunch of zombie movies and the different kind of zombie genres and meshed it into this, but like it was just so slow and so boring, and it's unfortunate. Again, I was excited for this. I was like, oh my god, and I just didn't like it. So anyway, enough about that. Let me show you what's in here. And here you have the slip cover, and then you got the Blu-ray underneath. And the cool thing with the slipcover here is that this is embossed, and this is embossed. Even on the sides, they're embossed. Nothing on the back, but, you know, I love embossed stuff. Glow in the dark and embossed. Love it. You know, I really love it. And if you're not a slipcover kind of guy, you don't get that on this. Or woman. You know, if you're not a slipcover kind of person, there you go. You know, you don't care. I'm going to stop rubbing that hand. But yeah, you got that here and that on the back. And there are the bonus features. If you want to pause it now and check them out, you can. And like I said here, it's the same artwork there. It's just not embossed. Same thing on the back. And on the inside you have a Blu-ray, which is a plain looking Blu-ray. And you also get a digital code. I took mine out. But I believe this is Region A. So yeah, unfortunately, I didn't really care for this movie at all. But like I said, there were some things I did like about it, but they weren't enough to make me want to watch this again, and that's a shame. But you know, I can't get my life back. I can't get the hour and some minutes back, but it is what it is, and now I know. So yeah, I would say I would not recommend this movie, but if you want to see Bill Murray fight some zombies, check it out. So, and if you want to hear The Dead Don't Die from Sturgis Simpson, is that the name? Over and over again, this is the movie to watch. So yeah, that's The Dead Don't Die. Next up I have here from Cranked Up Films and Shudder presents a Cinello Films Nice Guy Productions. It's from Cinedyne. This is Nightmare Cinema, and what this is, it's a horror anthology, which, you know, I love horror anthologies because each one of them is kind of different in their own way. They always have the same type of pattern, but they're always, you know, different stories. And of course, there's the wraparound. But this one is about these 5 strangers, and they're all like kind of like attracted to this movie theater, this abandoned movie theater. And what they go in, and there's this projectionist, and he plays out their deepest, darkest fear of, you know, what could happen, what is to be, or whatever like that. And so those are the stories. The people going in, they'll walk by, they'll see the thing on the marquee, and then they'll go in and they'll sit down and they'll watch it. And I gotta say, each story is actually very good. There's one story, and I'm blanking on the names of the stories and who directed them, to be honest. But this is like, I'll tell you the directors in a second. But there's only one story that I thought was a little weak, but only because I wanted more out of it. It ended pretty quickly, and I wanted more of an explanation. But it was a very cool one. A lot of you know, familiar faces in this as well, and it was very good. And the directors in this, it's Mick Garris, Joe Dante, David Slade. I don't know, the guy who did Midnight Meat Train. Midnight Meat Train. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his name. And then Alejandro Brugais. I don't know. He did One of the Dead. So you got some good directors there, and I'll tell you what, they did a fantastic job. This was a really, really good anthology. In fact, probably the weakest person in this was the projectionist himself, which is played by Mickey Rourke. And I don't know, he just seemed really weird for the role. Like, I like seeing Mickey Rourke in movies, but it was just, I don't know, kind of out of place in this. It was weird, but it's not obviously enough to like take you away from the movie or any other stories on here. But yeah, they're really good. There's one where this girl, like, things are starting to change around her, and it's done in like black and white and gray and that, you know, and like the world around her is like kind of like almost turning. It looks disgusting and gross. People are changing their faces and that, and it's really, really cool and gross at the same time. In fact, that's the one I wanted more out of. I like the way it ended, but that one was really cool. There's another one with which I believe was the one from Alejandro. I believe he did the one that was I think it's called. That's the only one I can think of. Machete, because you know machete. I don't know, but that one is like about this demon, and it's like a demon who like possesses children and like basically wants to kill children. And the guy who plays Sonny Corinthos in was it General Hospital or no, one of the soap operas. He plays the priest in it, and that one was really good. But that one's very violent, and if you don't like seeing violence against children, don't watch that one, or just look away or whatever. That one was really good. There was like this serial killer after them, and it was like this welder guy, and he was chasing them through the woods. It kind of like starts like later on in the like, you know, all this other stuff happened and you catch up later on, and then there's like the way that twist is pretty cool. I was like so not expecting it. And then there's another one where this kid is like this like upcoming kind of like pianist, and he's like excellent, and he gets shot and then he gets brought back to life, so now he's seeing like dead people and stuff in the hospital, and that story is very interesting as well. It's pretty cool. The kid's a good actor too. I feel really bad for him. Like he really looks scared and like you know, just doesn't know what to do, and just looks terrified. And it just like he was a good actor, the main kid. But yeah, that was a good one too. They were all really good. The wraparound again was probably the weakest one, but I really don't look at it as a, you know, a part of it. I don't know. It's weird. It's just kind of like why it's going on. It doesn't like. It's not really like super sinister or anything really. You know, it's it is what it isn't. And then the other one is about this woman who has this like scar on her face that she got when she was in an accident or something when she was younger, and she's like with this guy who was like, you know, the man of her dreams and everything, and he knows that like it bothers her. She can't look in a mirror without seeing that, and she thinks everybody's staring at her and all that kind of stuff. So it really bothers her, and even though he told her like, you know, I know it's you know, you're perfect the way you are. It's not what's on the outside, it's on the inside, and he doesn't see that. He knows how much it bothers her, so he wants to get it. He got an appointment with this plastic surgeon who actually did work on his mother, and now she looked a certain way before, and now she looks perfect. So she goes there, and she's, you know, gonna go under and get all this other stuff done. The doctor's like, well, while you're here, you might as well get this and this. And the doctor, I don't know what his name is that plays him. I know I've seen him before, and he's like a famous guy. He was excellent. He was so like trusting, and then he like kind of flipped it, but like he was very, very good. He did an excellent job. Like in that skit, he was like excellent. But and then she goes in and under the knife, and then shit happens from there. That was a good one too, especially the ending. Very holy shit kind of ending. But yeah, I really like this horror anthology. For the first time, I could say there is not one of the stories I did not like. Guaranteed, you'll like probably all of them. I would say all of them because I definitely did. And you know, again, there is the weaker one, but the only reason it was weak is because I wanted more out of it. Uh, and it was really cool how it was shot. You know, it looked really cool, and it was such an interesting story. But it kind of ended very quickly and flat, and I just want more. So hopefully, if they make another one of these, maybe they'll continue that. I don't know, maybe not, but that'd be cool. But yeah, I would definitely check out Nightmare Cinema. I really enjoyed this. In fact, this was a blind buy. I just picked it up on Amazon as I saw it was coming out. I was gonna get the VHS, and because it comes out, it's on VHS as well. I was gonna get that, and I thought, I'm gonna get the Blu-ray. So I got the Blu-ray, and I'm glad I did. It was very cheap. It was like 12 bucks. So definitely worth the money if you're gonna pick this up. And it says Shudder. I don't know if it's on Shudder, but I'm sure it probably is, or it's going to be. So if you want to wait and check it out on there, you can. And I'm sure it's in other places as well. But yeah, let me show you the inside of this. And here you have the front cover here. Pretty cool, very scary. Kind of reminds me of like a Tenacious D or something. But yeah, it's a pretty scary fucking looking demon there. And then you got the back and all that. There's no special features really. There's only captions. You could have the options of captions. And there is the Blu-ray, and it is region A. And I think it's kind of strange that they went for this plain, especially orange, for the Blu-ray. I was expecting at least maybe black or like some kind of image on it, but it's just kind of a strange looking image for me, or just, not even image, just color. But whatever, you know, it is what it is. The movie is 119 minutes long, and when I saw that it was like 2 hours long, I was like, wow, you know, that's a long time. But it's goes by quick. It's definitely not one of those dragging on. It's not a slow burn at all, you know. And I didn't even know how many stories there were. I didn't read the back when I put it in. It's just I knew it was a horror anthology. That's about it. But it's definitely a cool movie. I definitely would say check this one out. I liked it a lot. I definitely see a lot of rewatchability with this. And for once, a horror anthology that every one of the stories was good. So yeah, definitely check this one out. That's Nightmare Cinema. Next up I have here from Dread Central Presents and Epic Pictures is Arctic. This is directed by Tom Bocci. And what this is about, it's about this serial killer who's like obsessed with comics, and he's teaching his son the ways of how to, you know, kill and, you know, things to do with how to lure somebody to kill them and what to do when you have them, stuff like that. And he's kind of like looking for like the perfect kind of person, like a pure person, basically like total opposite of him. And the boy befriends this one stranger because he's spray painting one night, and he befriends this stranger, and the stranger kind of looks into what's going on with this kid, and he wants to like put a stop to all this stuff. He doesn't know about the killing and that, but he just sees how he's being brought up and everything, and he just wants to wants to stop that. And then, well, you know, things hit the fan. But yeah, the movie was kind of strange. They're a very strange family. Arctic, he kind of sounds like Bane. He doesn't really talk like that in the movie. Like in the movie, that's not how he talks in real life. Like I don't want to do the impression of him. After I watched this, I was kind of talking like him the whole time. But he's a big dude. He looks like a wrestler. I don't know, maybe he is. I didn't look into their past and everything, but you know, the hero of the story, the mechanic, he just kind of like he's like very sour and you know, toxic in that, but he's straight edge, and people make him toxic, and he just kind of wants to keep him to himself, working in the garage and stuff. And like I said, he comes across this kid, so he's like the good guy of the movie, and he's going to like Alcoholics Anonymous, even though he's not an alcoholic, but you know, he has other problems. And yeah, he's the, like I said, the hero of the story. But Arctic has this family, and they're like they brought them in. They were orphans, and they adopted them, and they have them working on the farm. They treat them like shit. They like leave them in like a barn or whatever, and then like they put like a pot out for food, and then that's what they eat. And his wife is played by I want to get her name right, Lauren Ashley Carter. Which, if you've ever seen Jugface, that's the first thing I've seen her in is Jugface, and Jugface is one of those that I highly recommended back in the day. And she has a smaller part in this because she plays his wife, but she does a great job in this as well. She's a terrific actress. But I think all the acting was good in this, but I think it was kind of a weird beginning and build up and everything, and then the whole last half hour wasn't bad. It was kind of strange, a strange movie. I honestly don't know if I liked it or not. It wasn't bad. I don't regret seeing it, but it just kind of weird. It kind of has that, because he's looking for like the perfect, pure person. It's kind of like Unbreakable in a way, where it's like the opposite of Mr. Glass. It's kind of like the opposite of him. There was a lot of violence in this, and a lot of when he's hitting them with this like hammer kind of thing. It sounds like it gives like one hell of a fucking smack to it. So like that, it was like very cool how they did that. It was like you could almost feel like the pressure and how hard he hit. It was like if you got hit by that, you're done. But yeah, it's just it's an okay movie for me. I mean, it wasn't bad. I don't want to say anything bad about it, but maybe if I watched it again, or something like that. But I just thought it was okay. I'd say check it out. It's also a shorter movie. It's only 78 minutes long, and that's with the credits at the end. So it's actually a shorter movie, which that's all. That's what I'm all about. I like the shorter movies, but if they're going to be a longer movie, it better be interesting the whole time. I'm not a huge. I don't mind slow burns, and this kind of had a little bit in the beginning, but not too much. I don't know. I'm not really a slow burn kind of guy, and this sort of had it in the beginning, but not much. But it wasn't bad. Again, I'm rambling on now, but yeah, let me just show you more about this. And there's the front cover there for Arctic. You know what? I'm not really a big fan of that, because I think when I see it's a lot like back in the day. Like if you see a cover for a movie, it's like that's what makes you want to check it out. And seeing this, I didn't really want to check it out. Like I wasn't that curious about it, but I like the Dread Central one, so like I want to watch them all. But like this one was kind of like, what is that cover, And then seeing the movie, you understand. But I don't know. I just don't really care for this cover, and I honestly don't like the back of this either. Like it just like the picture of him on the back. It's just kind of, I don't know. It's just, I'm not really a fan of the artwork on this thing. I think they could have done a lot better with this, or at least had a reversible side. I think being the main focus of Arctic, I think they could have did something like him stand over somebody with the hammer or something like that. Like he's a big dude and very brutal, and it just would have been cool to see him, in a different picture, than on what's on the front here. And here you have the Blu-ray, and it is region free. One other thing that was kind of weird with this movie was like this weird green screen kind of thing, because they had this this farm, and there's like all these sunflowers, and it's only subtle, but you could tell that it's not really a real background sometimes, and it is running, and it looks like really fake, and it's not enough to ruin anything, obviously, but I noticed that it's just I kept noticing it then after that, and I get it, money, time restraint, and all that kind of stuff, but it just I'd rather it not be like that. I think they should, because there is times where they're in a real field. They should just did that, but whatever. I just thought that looked kind of bad. The captions were good though, and the special features. You have the audio commentary, behind the scenes. There's short films, trailers, and then there's Dread Central Present trailers as well. So yeah, not really a lot of rewatchability for me. I don't know if I'd watch this again, but I don't regret watching it. I think it's worth at least one watch. So, you know, check it out. Let me know what you thought about it. So that's Arctic. Well, that's it, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and follow me on any one of the social media links in the description box below. I'll put trailers below for all the movies, but like I always say, proceed with caution. There may be spoilers. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.